And it's all together. Okay. We will call to order the Village Council work session for July 22nd, 2025. The first topic is general business. And the first topic under general business is the update on library construction bids. So there's only one person to turn to right now. Go right ahead, Doug.
There's two others like we could turn to, but
right.
I'll address this. So we opened bids today at 2 p.m. We had 7 bidders. And
How many bidders? 7?
7.
That's good.
And they were fairly closely aligned. I want to be a little sensitive here. When we opened up what is the apparent low bidder, the architectural team said we will have issues with this one. We may need to potentially pass over them. So that's a long process that needs to be documented and clarified. And anyway, we're going to work through that process. All of the bids came in within our budget, so all 7 of them.
Right.
So we are going to be, budget-wise, we're in a good place. Anyway, that's kind of where we are. I don't know what else.
Well, the only comment I'll make is it's not the lowest bidder that gets award. It's the best bid. People in the government, they have make this mistake of it didn't go to the lowest bidder. Well, it was the best bid overall, not the
we need to go with the lowest qualified bidder. So
yeah,
if we can disqualify them for good reason, we will.
But I think Dana actually had some very important language in some of the updates that she had proposed, speaking exactly to that we're not obligated to take the lowest bid. There are other considerations that we can use. So that's good.
So we'll be hopefully work out all those issues, and if we are lucky, we can come to you with a contract in our August meeting with the contract for the library.
So these will be thoroughly vetted in every aspect, okay?
You envision meeting with the 2 or 3 lowest or all? Or?
No, so we'll start at the lowest and see if they're qualified, and if they're not, then we will disqualify them and move to the next highest. So there's 2 separate processes in North Carolina state law that if you do a qualifications-based bid, then you can do something like that, interview the lowest 3 or 4 or whatever, and pick who you believe is the best quality firm. With construction projects that you do a traditional bid process in, you'd have to disqualify the lowest bidder and then move to the next one and determine whether or not they're qualified.
So hopefully we'll have more to discuss in August.
Yep.
Is there anything you'll want us to do or to see before August? Is there something you'll be sending out or?
Before the meeting, we'll send out a draft version of the contract.
Okay.
But very good news that it'll be within budget no matter which contractor we end up with.
That's fabulous news. You know, Mike, I was the voice of doom on that one. So any issues that came up that are interesting?
No, I was very, very pleased because they were very closely aligned, all 7 of them. So 1 or 2, like a little bit more on the extremes, but like there's 5 of them were like within $100,000. So that means that they all understood the project. They were bidding it the same way. They all had the exact same electrical subcontractor. I don't know if that makes a difference, but there is. I feel like we got a quality bid, or it was understood, and I think that there are no issues at this point.
Sometimes bidders recommend changes and or additions or that you may not have thought of. Is there any of that in this?
At this point, we haven't. So when we select the contractor, then we'll have a discussion like, hey, you looked at these real close. Are there any concerns or thoughts you have?
Good.
Yes, that'll happen.
That's great. Okay. I don't have anything else on this topic, and looking forward to August meeting to discuss what's the next steps. Anybody else?
Anybody, any idea when shovel time could be?
So if we approve a contract in August, it's typically 30 days-ish, and we'll give them a notice to proceed. So could we have a groundbreaking ceremony in late September, October? Possibly.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Doug, and staff that worked on this. I know it's our biggest construction project in some time. I don't know if it's in the history of Pinehurst, the village government, but it's sure close.
I think it's actually cost-wise bigger than the community center.
Right. Okay. All right. Let us move on to item B. Discussion of potential project to submit to CVB.
Yeah, so we had a discussion a couple of months ago about this and knowing that a potential grant program opportunity might become available in the future. So we've discussed some of these already, but this is more of a give and take. I'll go through some of the potential projects and you can tell me if it's a bad idea or not. The first would be Fair Barn enhancements. I think this might be our strongest candidate as far as if the goal is to put heads in beds, as they say, and that's what CVB is trying to do with this grant program. This might be meet that goal the easiest.
Doug, could you just remind us the parameters that CVB is looking for in these bids as far as how we justify them to fall into their
Yeah, so
possibilities?
they want capital projects that promote tourism, attract overnight visitors from 50+ miles away, and create long-term economic and tourism impact.
Okay.
So the Fair Barn, if we made some upgrades to that, we could potentially be more attractive to corporate events that could come in. So there's issues with the lighting there. Sometimes it's hard to see the projector, and currently you can't dim the lights. It's either all or nothing. So that would be an option. Also, there's been requests for a bridal suite or additional kind of amenities for weddings. That also has a high potential of getting people to come to this area for a major wedding. So as far as, like I said, the heads and beds, this might be a competitive project.
Would there be an upgrade to the kitchen facilities in this at all, or we feel we're okay there?
It's a catering kitchen, so I think we're okay. I think it meets the needs.
Okay. Thanks.
And if we do want to go down that route, we can be much more specific about what enhancements we actually put in that before we apply for the.
We could certainly ask a couple of the local catering companies who frequently cater events there, either for us or others, if they had any
Like,
thoughts.
yeah, a new dishwasher would be great, whatever, yeah.
Good thing about that particular project is that the Fair Barn is regionally well-known already as a premier location.
So another project that has been talked about is Camelot Playground renovation. I mean, that's something we've talked about ourselves, but maybe this is an opportunity to upgrade it and have another amenity for visitors to use while they're in the area. Particularly if husband's out playing golf, the wife and the kids might have something to do. The Airport Road Trail, something we've discussed tonight earlier. This could be an option to provide, another amenity for people to do while they're here in the village and connect our Greenway path system to the Southern Pines.
Isn't that connected to the SMPO?
So SMPO is going to fund $110,000. It's probably a $400,000 project.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
The CVB grant program webpage, the very first suggested item that they have on there is trails and walkway improvements. So at first I thought, well, does this really meet the program criteria? But they specifically said, yes, that would be one that they'd be looking to fund. Other ones, a restroom facility at West Pinehurst Park, again, just making a park amenity more accessible, more pleasing to guests and visitors. A digital walking tour expansion. So as you know, Audrey's already done a great version of that, and we're linking that and putting that on a link on our website, but maybe there's the opportunity to make it a standalone mobile app or somehow make it more accessible to people. A village-wide trolley shuttle system, that's something I think, got brought up the last time we discussed this. I will say that they want to fund capital items. This would be both capital and operational, so this might be a little difficult to figure out how this all might work out. But certainly an opportunity.
Especially if we were not actually purchasing vans or vehicles, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I put a question next to that capital question mark, and not because it's not a good idea. I'm not sure it's a fit with CVB, though.
I kind of agree. I think if we could somehow coordinate with the county's transportation services and, buy a van or two for them, and they're already operational, and, they add some routes in Southern Moore County, that might be an option. But yes, to start a new program up from scratch would be very difficult with this program. Another option would be to expand and or put more permanent facilities in the Arboretum. It could be an amphitheater, although I think we might get some pushback on that. But if there were any other events or amenities we want to put here, that would be an option. Or we can expand the Arboretum across Magnolia Road and put some facilities in there. It could be as simple as some walking paths and benches.
Are you talking now between the apartment complex and the police station?
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to maintain that
We could,
use.
yeah. Also, that corner did get cleaned up quite a bit from the jungle it was. Certainly more work could be done there if we wanted to. That could also be added as potential part of that project.
During the creation of the small area plans, there was, and also during the comprehensive plan, there was a there was a lot of interest in creating an amphitheater across from Village Hall, in what is now actually a good topography for that, a small scale amphitheater. Well, by small scale, I mean 200-300, that type of thing. There was a lot of, for smaller events and so forth. There was a lot of interest in that during that time period, and it didn't get included in the plan per se, but it was a lot of interest in it. Let me put it that way. And I think there may be some but it's all within the village generally right now. It doesn't talk to creating tourism per se.
On first reading, I like the idea of a permanent amphitheater. I was even thinking Shakespeare in the Pines sometimes has had to close down or stop performances if it starts to rain because that stage gets slippery and dangerous for the actors and actresses. I wonder whether by doing that we create more competition for downtown, things that might occur downtown that would then be moved out there. I don't know the answer to that. I raise it as an open question. And the other question I would have, because I did print out the CVB guidelines, is they are looking for shovel-ready projects. Do we think we could go from a standing start there to something that would be completed by end of calendar 26? I don't know.
A potential concern, yes.
I don't know to what extent the staff has looked at, it's now dated in a way, but we did a extensive discovery and or forecast on performing arts centers. This was now, 10, 12 years ago minimum. But that report is on file as to whether or not a performing arts center of some nature made sense for the village. It didn't really go anywhere at that time, but it's still a viable thought.
It sounds like it would have predated the Performing Arts Center that they added at Sand Hills Community College then.
It may have, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, just the last couple items on here. Harness track amenities. We're already putting in a public restroom. I'm not sure if there's anything else there that really would scratch the itch that they're looking at. And then
No, I mean, I don't know exactly what this entails, but to the extent that we're able to attract more events to the harness track or 1 mile track by having more robust public facilities, that may be useful as far.
Yeah, that's the first time I've noticed the word bleachers, and I sort of immediately thought, well, that's probably a good idea if we're going to have events.
Been bleachers there years ago.
There were. Okay. Someone took them down for some reason. Anyway. And obviously,
Yeah, and the last one, the Tufts Archives. I think that's perfect project, but not the right timeline.
I think it's premature, but I think we save it for the next year. Remind me, what is the bandwidth we're allowed here? I mean, how many projects can we put forth?
So I believe they said they have $1 million. They're asking for projects that have $100,000 in matching funds. So they're asking for significant projects. They want these to be,
That's a minimum,
yes.
minimum of 100, right?
Well, why don't we?
And also, this is the second time they're doing it. The first round, there were some projects that were funded that I didn't necessarily think met their
Right.
stated purpose. So I think if we are close, we should have a decent opportunity of being
Let me
funded.
ask a question. Should we put in one project, or should we put in several?
I think that we should put in more than one, 2 or 3.
Okay, so we're talking about 3 projects that and then they're going to pick and choose.
Right.
Okay. Well, maybe we want to try to see if we can get some consensus on the 3 projects that really seem like one, would be beneficial to obviously the village, but 2, also there's a clear connection to tourism, so it's not iffy. I'll just share with you what my thoughts as I was looking at the list. I thought the Fair Barn really fits that. And I think it's the type of thing that the community would say hooray for. As long as we protect the historical nature of things, I think the Fair Barn is a pride of this community. The second thing I thought was, and I really didn't think about it until I saw it envisioned here, is the expansion across Magnolia of the Arboretum. It sort of looks tacky, lack of a better phrase, that part of land. And it could be, I could see where it would be a pleasant place for some folks. And if there's a large event at the Arboretum, there are folks who may say, let's walk across the street and go to the park bench or whatever. And for people who are tourists, they probably might find it fascinating. The third one is, I'm always looking for some way to upgrade the harness track, whatever little thing we can do. And whether it's bleachers or some other amenity, it's in our historic district. It's 110 acres, and tourists do go there for events. We know that, as well as our residents for events. So those would be my big 3. The one that didn't make it or would make it is the Airport Road Trail, which but again, I view that as something that's got a few parts to it, not just us, so to speak. So those are my thoughts, and colleagues, please speak up.
Coincidentally, those are the 4 I would
Well,
are on top of my list.
okay.
Well, yeah.
That was my
He said 3.
Well, yeah, I think we should submit 2 or 3, but those are the 4, including the Airport Road. I think to me, that's a high, I think would score well because there's other funding coming in from other places as well.
I find myself in complete agreement with the mayor
Actually, I am too.
on the top 3. I'm not sure about
Objection.
airport.
Unbelievable. The Convention and Visitors Bureau has brought us together.
The 3 that I listed on there also. If I were to throw a 4th one, it'd be the amphitheater on top of that, but
Well, that was
I agree with that.
that was my last one. I guess the only thing that made me hesitant is it sounded like a bigger undertaking.
I wondered if we could combine them.
That
I wondered if we could combine it, since we're doing the Arboretum, just throw an amphitheater in there also, just, if you're gonna go big, you might as well really go big, right?
Well,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking in terms of things that we could actually get accomplished within a year, that we could reasonably get done within a year, and then of course we come back, we bite the apple again next year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
I think you may have made the sale. We don't need to keep selling her.
All right, Doug, you know what
Yeah,
you got your, three?
I would like to just ask one question in connection with harness track amenities. I was playing the #1 golf course not that long, a couple of weeks ago, and there was a substantial athletic competition, children's athletic competition taking place. It looked like it was lacrosse, but there were kids playing flag football also.
On the 1 mile track in the back?
In the back, yeah. And there had to be 700 or 800 people there.
Wow.
They couldn't all be from Pinehurst. This could not have been some intramural or something like that. I don't know what it was, but to the extent that we could provide bleachers there as a way to use that facility for other than people running horses around it, it might be a revenue generator as we think about the net cost and what have you. So I agree with that as one, and I just would ask that we maybe find out what that was and see what the other opportunities are for that.
Yeah, internal staff discussions, we would like actually to recommend doing more park-like facilities around the mile track and, do it sensitively. We don't want it to
Right.
be necessarily a kid's playground, but if there are facilities we could put back there that would get the public using that more, I think that would be beneficial for everyone.
Indoor, not just our residents, but there could be something somewhere else or some group from out of state that says, boy, there's a location that we'd like to try now that they have bleachers or restrooms or whatever the heck it takes to make people feel comfortable that we're going to be in a good place. And besides that, we can go to Pinehurst, the village of Pinehurst at night if we want to.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we can do a lot of things to attract. I prefer not to make it a amusement park.
No,
I would prefer that we orient it towards activities that still retain the character of both the location and the community.
No carousel then?
No, or
okay.
casino,
Ferris
no
wheel.
casinos.
is that,
Bingo night.
The Ferrell wheel?
so
Well played.
Fairborn is a strong #1 candidate, I think,
so.
right?
So,
And
can I pitch the airport road? Just,
Sure. I mean, I would put it in the top 3 and 4. Now, we may find,
That one that's a loser, because they can.
yeah,
throw it out.
we'll let them decide which ones they don't want.
Right, I mean,
but Doug, you may end up determining after you look at what the harness track appropriate mix of amenities is that, wow, this is a little more than we want to chew this year. So it may fall out. But I think we've got 4 good ones there.
I had checked Airport Road also. I don't know how CVB will look at that. I think it's an appropriate request, but they may say, well, who's going to come from out of town to walk
Yeah.
on Airport Road?
Well,
I
and that's
don't know.
kind of what I thought, but they specifically mentioned trails on their
No.
website.
I
and-
saw that.
And one that connects the 2 major greenway systems, I think, would be the best trail you could add here. Okay, one last question. Harness track, can you help me picture what you're picturing as far as potential amenities there?
Amenities? Well, I
Yeah.
think that the bleacher concept is a good idea. I don't think it detracts from the uses that we currently have. I think we could promote polo again. Believe it or not, there is an active polo groups in the country that we could become, rather than just the harness training area, we could become more, there is polo cross there, but we could actively work on attracting more polo events, which
That
is.
area is large enough for a full polo field.
And I think
Right.
you might want to consider an attractive restroom facility if we're going to have a large crowd.
Yeah,
Gotta
well, that's almost built, so.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
Right.
I think that's an important aspect for people to have a
I-
full
I-
experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't build athletic fields per se. I wouldn't build
No.
a ball field with all,
No.
the usual amenities.
We leave the track intact and
But
sort of work around it.
open field type of activities, there's a lot of activity in soccer and then who knows? I mean, it's a big open area.
One
And
thing-
P.S. question here, just in doing some research, Moore County Utilities still owns a circular parcel right in the middle of our
Yeah.
1 mile track. Is that still a well site or has that been abandoned? I can't remember.
I've been told that they were abandoned. I think there was one in the half mile and mile.
Yes, there's one in each one,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think they are both abandoned, but I'll confirm.
Yeah, let's see if
Can we
can
just
get that.
assume that? Not assuming it as in assuming it an idea, but can we propose to them, say, hey, if this is an
Oh.
abandoned type of thing,
Can we have it back?
we just,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'd rather us get that so we don't have this little, caveat when we're thinking of what we're doing. One other thing that might or might not be appropriate there, I'm going to use the term scoreboard, but it could be a message board. So if people are here for the polo game or you can tell them where they can go afterwards and you can tell them what the score is or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
You can do all kinds of crazy things. International model plane tournament, or there's a big open area for potentially landing and taking off and so forth. It sounds crazy, but some of these
Drones.
You could have a drone contest.
people come from all over the place. Drone competition. There's all kinds of. It's a unique open space that, at least while the harness trainers are not there, which is a pretty large
Yeah,
segment
all
of the,
summer,
of the
yeah.
summer, we could attract considerable amount of tourists.
I believe most of our residents don't know you're allowed to go back to the mile track. And so if we,
I see people hitting golf balls occasionally.
You can drive out the back. If I
yeah,
remember. That's
yeah,
another-
so it's,
another advantage.
that is a better access point for the public if we were going to do something back there.
I don't know if there's a way to capitalize on the resort's travel center next to it there, but it might be for transporting people there because they fix that up and it's pretty efficient now. It's obviously it's for them, but if there's a way to utilize that on an occasion, it might work. Well, look, I think you've heard from all of us, and I know there's some work involved in putting together the proposal, and they're due in when, September?
Yeah.
So why don't you take a shot and let us know in August how it looks? Does that sound all right to everybody?
Yeah. No, I think it's
Perfect. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. All right, we got a decision there. Any other items before we entertain the final motion of the night?
Move to adjourn the work session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We are out of here.